Now I gotta love it.
I'm just going with what the guys say.
Morning, how are you?
Good, how are you?
How are you?
Morning. Been all right. Hey, Dan, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Turn the whole out there.
I sure did, wet and cold. That's exactly right. We need to rain.
Yeah, we late the morning, through January and May, and we did all the last year. Yeah. 5 months.
Oh. You got your shit, Dan? I didn't see one, but.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, we all.
I figured it wasn't you.
I know, that's what I was like from them, I was here. 60 people.
I ain't
Right over here, sign is $2,200.
That way, if he can save the board, so we can use that stipend.
Oh, it is, don't worry. I'm still saying.
Good, otherwise.
Sorry. Just say what, George over there does.
George.
Getting the, doesn't matter, getting the discussion part. Can't blame that on me.
I mean, it's a little higher, this one.
Stand up for what's right.
Well, you notice that,
Oh, I know.
that first number is
Just the-
January through March, that's
More
3
coming.
months. The next one is, they just made April, but it's more.
It's his fault, like that, it's me. Because he's retired, he's making me do that stuff.
5 months a year.
Same hurt, take hurt and stuff, he
Probably sooner than I think.
Yeah, you're right, $134,000 for 2 months.
Maybe today.
That's what we worked all last year.
January, 20 years in.
Something you wrote in one of those last articles.
It's all wrong.
I don't know if it's wrong or not, but I wasn't sure about it. I haven't had a chance to check. I can't remember.
You end up with something.
I need to know. I can let it go.
It might have had to do with the street lights. Yeah, it might have, I can't remember. Nobody would know the difference anyway.
One of the things I know is the difference, see, I'm like, so here's a, I jump right in there. Fire department's out, man.
That's what we need.
But when you get in there, you're like, oh shit.
Well, I know that's right, because it's turned on the Christmas
That's what
parade.
we need then.
Well, that's when
We got the high desk in your office.
I mean, yeah, in '82. Yeah, I don't know about the first
I
time.
ended up there one day.
There was something I wasn't sure about. I can't say it was wrong, but it just didn't, something struck me as odd about it, but I can't remember what it was.
Challenge me when you think we're glue.
I'm not gonna do that.
No, I need to know.
I ain't gonna do that.
I need to get it right.
We do wish
We get taken with the garbage.
such a good writer.
Yeah.
And the city.
Yeah, well, I was gonna write one for, well, I wrote a short one for the preservation award. He had already written one, he had already written two, because, well, actually one, Vicky wrote the one, I'm sure, that was in there yesterday. And he had already written the other, but he wasn't even there, and he just regurgitated what I had written before the big picket. And then I was gonna write one for the Revolutionary Threads.
It's the
Rosemary
same,
has already written one, and it was in there, so I just sent it.
We've done done a sweep.
So maybe he'll publish it too.
sorry for interrupting, Robert, I'll get a quick handshake. Get out of the way.
Yeah. See you later. Morning.
What's that, your position?
12 o'clock today, we are lifting the burn. Still within all the citizens, in addition to pay the make the payroll. previous meeting, was, yes, they were state certified. The question is because I've been informed that this was never put out to bid. Stated that you represented us in this body that they were state approved. Are they state approved? Yes. Have with the state. State approved contract. Which makes the statute, I'm not an attorney by any means, the way I interpret it personally, is that it makes those contracts null and legally not. That's where this is all at. So, regardless of what happened, we're in a situation where I don't want to deflect, whether the road department.
Yes, and I will have all that to you today.
Okay.
Did H&B represent that they were on the approved list, or did we just assume they were?
Yes, they said they were, they did the work for the city. No one that I know of in any of the bids, even on the road slips, there's no certifications in there, other than that they're approved by the state. So, but we're going to get to the bottom of this real quick.
Let's get back to the bills list.
Okay.
Well, we got a motion in a second.
Well, other than this H&B bill, do you have any problem with us going ahead and paying the other road bills? I mean, we've got sufficient, I assume we have sufficient funds in the road account to pay that, right?
Right.
So there's no reason to delay those.
So let me amend my motion to make that better. I make a motion to table the bills list and the H&B bill until we get this issue resolved, but pay the road bills that's on the bills list.
What about the special reserve fund? There's an item on that
Natatorium.
bills list, yes.
Natatorium thing, do we have, I assume we have sufficient in that fund paid natatorium bill?
And I'll amend that to include the natatorium from the special fund, since that doesn't have the general fund. Because we hold the pre-authorization bills.
Needs a second on that one.
Just want to see what.
Thank you.
Any more discussion on the bills list?
Other than just, although it does affect payment of the bills, I know I talked with Mary B. earlier, well, about a week or so ago, and I think Mary had said October of last year, we collected, about 638,
638.
and that was in occupational tax, insurance premium tax. That's exclusive of what we collected that month in property tax. So we do have other revenues that we would anticipate coming in later this month. So, it's just going to be a function of getting through the next couple of weeks. So I support.
And I got a question, just for clarification, something that Dan and Katie, you mentioned. We have to pay within 30 days. If we don't, it's a big deal, not a big deal. It's like, if we get a tick on an audit. I mean, my constituents were asking, hey man, you're not paying the bills on time, you're supposed to pay in 3 days. What's the answer on that?
Well, I mean, I'm going to defer that question to the county attorney as far as what ramifications, but at this point, we really don't have an option.
I understand that. I'm just
Because, if we go back, 6 or 7 meetings, there was talk about potentially doing a loan, so we could have some cash flow. That nothing was ever brought to us to be able to do that. So this is the position that we're in. And number one goal is that we have to make payroll. And,
Absolutely.
you know, I'll defer to him on what the ramifications of that is.
Thank you.
Master Miller. So, I hope I get a pass, get to sit here quietly, but since you've raised the question, I don't mind answering it. The government function of spending through that budget begins somewhere before paying the bill. So, I'm always required as a professional to give you my best answer, not my second best answer, like what should we do now? The best answer is don't incur the expense to begin with when your payroll's not in the bank. So I don't think anybody sitting here, other than maybe the judge executive's office, has any idea why we're talking about spending money today to keep from getting a ding on an audit or paying an interest point or a late fee when the payroll wasn't in the bank. So when we look at it on the continuum, that's the place that has to be addressed. POs have got to quit being approved for expenses when the employee's wages that they've earned are not in the bank.
Thank you.
Speaking of the CAECO loan, one has, I received an email yesterday from CAECO. They originally, for the Parks and Recs, emergency sirens, the microwaves, and the cascade, originally CAECO had approved a CAECO loan. This is not a bank loan, it's an actual CAECO loan that you can get quickly for $250,000, which did not cover all four of those. They have, as of yesterday, amended that from the $250,000 to $275,000 for a 4-year loan to cover those 4 items. So
What were those for again, Judge? I'm sorry.
the Parks and Recs,
Ceresco?
the county to upgrade the emergency sirens for the county, upgrade the microwave system, and to go out to bid for a air charging system for the fire department. Those come up to about $276,000, I think, or 75 or something.
Gotcha. What's the loan approval number?
Pardon?
The loan approval number, what you said?
275.
Yeah, it was originally $250, and they bumped it up to $275 to cover all 4 items. Says this is an internal loan carrying an interest rate of 5%, and there is no penalties for any early termination. So
Do you have the documents ready to approve?
we could probably have them emailed today. If the court wants to approve this, then we can get you can get this money fairly quick. I think within 2 to 3 days. That way you could go ahead and at least get Parks and Recs their $125,000.
We've got a motion on the floor for the bills.
Is there any further discussion?
May I ask a question about the pre-authorization part? If I understood you, you're including the pre-authorizations to be held until 10/23?
I mean, unless there's money that comes in the account.
Okay, that's my question. What happens if I get a disconnect notice before 10/23?
I mean, when I was looking at the pre-authorization bills, the invoice on those were pretty recent.
I don't have my pre-authorization list here with me. We had some that were due yesterday that were not paid.
Well, I mean, regardless, they're not 30 days old, and you're not going to get a disconnect for a 2-week period. I mean,
Okay.
I mean, that's not the way any utilities or anything that I've ever worked on or ever had in my name.
I've never been in this situation, so I'm just asking in case it were to.
I mean, I think you pay, I mean, since it's pre-authorized, it's, you know, you gotta make sure that payroll's in the bank. You know, payroll's in the bank, then we, you know, release those as the money comes in. So we get through the muddle through to the 16th, that's my personal opinion.
I don't think that you can do that without additional work. And that's not included in your motion, right?
Right.
And the reality is that there's a lot of speculation here about what's being talked about. And I think that the motion that's on the floor should be taken up. Maybe if something happens and the judge or his staff needs a special meeting, they can always call me.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So now while we're there, if we can we go ahead and talk about the CAECO loan?
Sure.
If you would like to approve that, then we can get the paperwork. I'm sure we could get it done today, and in a few days, you would have the money, so. Any thoughts?
When did the county do that Soresco request for payment? We've been so long.
It's been a while.
Been a while, yeah,
It's been since July.
I was gonna say June or July.
And I mean, here's the situation that we're in, and I don't know the answer to it. And Judge, I know there's been email correspondence and you haven't responded. And so with the CAECO, and I sent this out to everybody, I just took it upon myself because we hadn't heard anything in regards to the financing of the Soresco air handler. And that $125,000 because the company has been putting pressure on the Parks and Rec in regards to that. It's been going back since June. And then basically in the email correspondence with Jeff, he had asked, you know, kind of what the updated on it, and carbon copied me and Judge responded directly back to him, well, the fiscal court, it's up to them to approve the money, so it was put off us, even though we've been talking about this finance forever. So once I got that, I had asked if financing had been obtained. The question that I got back was no response. I had called CAECO myself in regards to that. Same thing, $125,000 is all I was trying to do, is to get that bill paid to when whatever other financing was potentially, you know, the judge was gonna bring back at a later date with the no prepayment penalty. It sounds like that these loans are kind of in the same line as far as the terms of it. This was for a 3-year term, but the difference is I had them draw up the documents so that way we could approve them and get them paid today. And I was going to present that in magistrate comments since it was not an item on the agenda. But, I mean, we've got to get that addressed and get that paid.
Well, Judge, I don't mind approving what you're talking about, your proposal from CAECO pending receipt from you by the county attorney, just make sure everything's in proper order. But based on the terms you've given us, I'm okay with that. We need to get these bills paid, particularly Soresco.
Well, see, originally, part of this was part of the, what would you call it, the larger loan to include the fire department vehicles, the coroner's vehicles, etc. And so, I guess if we go this route with CAECO to fund the first 4, then what do we want to do on the rest of the vehicles and equipment?
Can I have a question? You indicated to me that everything was included in that CAECO loan. So is it yes or no? And that's fine, and I understand the wants and the needs. And I do agree with everything that the fire department needs with their SCBA.
Yeah, we'll give you a chance to speak here in just a second.
Well, I'm done. That's just my question. It's a yes or no.
So, I mean, we could go ahead, like you're talking here, you do the CAECO loan, that is the immediate ones. I think the air handler, air charging system for the fire department is pretty important right now. So,
I'm sorry, Judge, I may be able to help out right here if you'll allow me.
sure.
Here's what I do. I take the forms that Magistrate Constables has in hand, I make a copy of them, I fill them out in two versions, one for the amount that you suggested, one for the amount that he suggested, submit both of them to KCO, hope they approve the larger amount. Nothing wrong with that, right?
When you say the larger amount, you're talking about the total.
275.
If you said 275, what would you have?
When I had called them, I had them send me documents just for the 125,000 because that was the most pertinent bill.
So we can make a copy of that though, and fill it out. We can do this one and approve it. Do the one the judge is talking about since he doesn't have it in hand. But I've already seen yours and I think it's meets legal requirements. Fill out the larger amount. Okay, go keep your fingers crossed that because you brought these documents here today, we got an opportunity to do the 275. We submit yours and submit his, but that one in priority. So that you get the 275 in priority. They'll probably approve it. Seems like the shortfall here is that the judge has had a conversation, but he didn't have the documents. You got the documents and we reviewed them, so I think we could use them.
I follow.
See you.
And the documents will probably be the same,
I think
Well, what was
so.
that?
just different amount.
That's right. Judge, what was the term on yours, 5 years?
4 year, 5%.
4 years at 5%, so everything's the same. Can I give these documents to one of your people, and we'll just hold off and have them copy it and white them out, or on the copy, white them out so we can fill in the 275, the 4 years, and then on one was the closing through instead of 2028, it'll be 2029.
We can do two loans now, right?
Either or.
1%, two different packages, hoping they approve the one you talked about.
Well, they have approved 275.
But that way we can go ahead and approve the documents because the county attorney has reviewed these. So we're just plugging the information you're telling us into the documents, which should be the same exact form. That's right. And that way.
Change the terms.
And then that way we.
And worst case scenario, you got your.
Worst case scenario, if they say, well, no, these aren't the right documents for that, we can at least pay the Ceresco and then come back to the next meeting with the other one and pay it. But I think they should accept, I think William's right on that.
We do need to have somebody with a copy. Yeah. As is.
The problem with paying the Ceresco bill is we do not have appropriations to pay that.
I'd make 2 copies, just so we, and then, yeah.
So do we have to wait on a budget amendment to get enough appropriations to pay for that?
Mary has that listed as part of the budget amendment that's being presented today.
Well, we can take it out,
It's not new money. It's your appropriated, budget being used in advance, so it's borrowing funds and paying them back. You should pay them back this year. If you cannot do that, and you increase your overall budget spending, then you have to have a budget. The discussion here has always been that we'll borrow the money until we get our tax roll in and then pay it back. That would not cause an expansion of the original budget amount. To expand the original budget amount, you do have to have a budget amount.
But we still have no appropriations in the Ceresco line item to pay that.
it's going directly to
The judge's office presented the budget, it got approved here. I don't know where that line item went. It seemed a little late to discover it today.
We've
Well, it
been
was
talking about it.
appropriated, discussed 2 years ago, when we did all that.
I don't know the budget.
I don't know.
I mean, part of the problem is this has been going back and forth since June. The judge's staff is saying that now here today, 90 days later, there's not an appropriation. Why wasn't that raised timely so that something could be done about it? If that's the case.
It was mentioned several meetings ago that we didn't have the appropriations for it.
motion.
Well, I don't think I think we wait until we get the documents in hand.
Okay.
Vote on the opinion. That's my opinion.
Okay, fine. So, hold it till you get the documents in, okay.
I had suggested several meetings ago, if we had the cash to pay this Suresco, to transfer funds from the regular Parks and Rec line item to the Suresco line item so this could be paid. Then when we were able to do a budget amendment, put those funds back in the regular Parks and Rec line.
Well, and let me just say this, I don't have any, I'm not saying that's a good decision, bad decision, probably would have worked fine. But that's the sort of thing that ought to be on the agenda, prepared and either sent out in the packet or at least 2 or 3 days beforehand. Here we are, scrambling on the fly, once again, in a meeting to meet an obligation we've known about for months. They got so far behind, the Parks and Rec director has to reach out to a magistrate to try to get something done on it. Here we are, playing catch-up ball once again. I've had it. I mean, it's a 6-figure obligation, $125,000. As Master Plant said, we've talked about it, known about it for 2 years now, at least.
So do you want to make a motion? Okay.
Yeah, I think we've concluded our meeting, Judge, and then at the end, I'll be more than happy to make a motion for your $225,000 with the documents in hand and specifying the motion format to change it. I think so. Larry, give me white out. White out.
White out?
Give me white out.
Mary's on.
You want to move on and do that at the end?
Yeah. Okay, I'll sit here and do it while we're going to do another start.
Was there any public comments signed up? No public comments. The next item is to need a vote, motion to remove from the table the USI insurance agreement.
Motion to remove that item from the table.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. So the item before you is the approval of the USI the insurance services agreement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, it will be a short presentation by Claire Sipple, the Kentucky Heritage Land Conservation Fund Board, Lower Howard Creek.
I didn't make up that name. That's a long one.
275.
4%?
I'm sorry, or 5%. 5% for 4 years. You want to look at this?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I've been asked to come and speak to you all about the Lower Howards Creek Preserve. It's on January 20th, 2001, the Lower Howards Creek Nature and Heritage Preserve was dedicated as Kentucky's 40th nature preserve by Kentucky Heritage Land Conservation Fund Board and the Office of State Nature Preserves. Today, the judge had asked me how many preserves are there any more just like this? Well, there are none just like it. But since that time, in 24 years, we now have 141 state nature preserves. We were the first preserve to have a heritage component, as this area was among the first industrial complexes in Kentucky, being settled from Fort Boonesborough in the 1780s. The 10 tracts that comprise the preserve were either donated to the county for use by Lower Howards Creek, but were mostly funded by Kentucky Heritage Land Conservation Fund Board. Here, I'm going to call them Heritage Land, through their competitive granting process. This agency is funded by environmental fines, a tax on unmined minerals, and through the sale of the nature's finest license plates. We are not funded by taxpayers. The Fiscal Court named the Clark County Winchester Heritage Commission as the agency to manage this preserve. This agency established the Friends of Lower Howards Creek to provide funding and management for the preserve. The first preserve was me. The first preserve manager was me. I was a volunteer when it first got started, and I had a background in land management, archaeology, and historic preservation, and was hired by the Heritage Commission as the first manager. I wrote and administered more than $3 million worth of grants to build the preserve into 437 acres, almost all of which is non-developable land located within the Lower Howards Creek Valley. And those of you who have not been there, it's a very steep, it's the first palisaded creek valley along the Kentucky River. The Palisades of the Kentucky River starts in Pool 10, and Lower Howards Creek is in a valley that's about this steep. So back in the pioneer days, they were looking for that water power, but today, very few people have places down there that they live. I retired after 19 years, and Kara State Pumphrey is now the manager. I'm currently the chair of a 6-person board for Lower Howards Creek Incorporated. Members of my board are John Fox, John Walker, Wes Moody, Kathy Whiteman, and Rankin Skinner. All professionals who have been dedicated to managing Lower Howards Creek since 2001. When this preserve was dedicated, Drew Graham was our county judge executive, and the preserve was a very popular destination for hiking and school groups studying Kentucky history. In 2020, when the pandemic shut down all public pools, the preserve was overrun with people desperate to be outdoors. The Fiscal Court received complaints from management at Halls on the river because cars were filling their parking lot in order to access the creek. Chris Pace, may he rest in peace, he was the county judge executive at the time, and he stated that the county didn't need to be in the preserve business and indicated a willingness to deed the preserve to an entity that could do so. Our group of volunteers organized as a 501c3 land trust on May 28, 2021. We are financially stable and willing to take ownership of all properties, passage easements, and conservation easements. These conservation easements which were associated with each tract of land that we received in the grant process. They're conservation easements that take away all the financial value of these properties because you can't do anything but leave them as a nature preserve. On behalf of the Lower Howards Creek Nature and Heritage Preserve Incorporated, I request that the Fiscal Court agree to convey these properties to our group. Upon the court's approval, I will present this request to Heritage Lands at their quarterly meeting on October 16th for their approval. If approved by this state agency, we will then prepare new deeds and continue running this preserve, but under our ownership and not the county's. So, yes.
So if it's not usable for development, and now when you all take it over, what will be the purpose of it? Will people be able to hike it again?
People have always been able to hike it. It's not open to the public because it is the conservation easement is very restrictive as what you can do. We cannot have dogs, for instance. That's in the conservation easement. We can't build anything on these lands. And we do have a couple of properties that were donated that we don't have those conservation easements on. But we'll be using it for education. This past weekend, we had the National Dry Stone Walling Competition. There were people here from Canada, Alaska. We had 43 to 45 crews that came in and rebuilt about 80 or 100 feet of fence. It was a really fun activity because these people are training to be dry stone masons. And this training program started with the Drystone Conservancy when they were rebuilding Paris Pike, US 68 between Lexington and Paris. The Drystone Conservancy is a nonprofit. They're headquartered at Lower Howards Creek now. They have training programs that are open to the public, and they've done a really great job of rebuilding a lot of our historic stone fences. And this is a training opportunity that allows people to make a very good living with rebuilding these stone fences. So I don't know how many masons that they've certified, but I see their work almost every place I drive in central Kentucky.
So how does a person get permission to be able to go through that?
We have a list, we have a website, and on that website, we have a list of hikes that are guided hikes. And then on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, from 9 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon, the lower part of the Lower Howards Creek Preserve is open for public hiking. And those hours only, because after that, Halls is open for lunch and dinner, and they don't want visitors to be taking up their parking places. So that's an agreement we made with Carl Crace after all that awful stuff that happened during the pandemic. One day there were 400 people on the creek, and the cars were parked from the old abandoned quarry all the way up to the curve at the top of the hill. And the Hall's parking lot was full, and Mr. Crace was very unhappy, and we were very unhappy. We were taking 4 bags of trash out a day, and it was just, it was chaotic. So anyway, at that point, we put up a chain link fence and only open it those 3 days a week for those limited hours, so people do have access to it then, and it's on our website.
And so where is the opening? Is it to the building is, I'm looking at the building, is that right there to the right that I see?
That's it.
That has the little thing?
Yep, we have a kiosk there that gives information,
Gotcha.
and we have maps, and so, yeah, that's the only opening that's open to the public,
Besides the guided hike.
besides the guided hikes.
And the guided hikes are more than just Lower Howards Creek, they go up into the preserve?
Well, yes, but Lower Howards Creek, remember, is all contained within the steep valley.
That's correct.
So that's farmers that had access to the creek would sell us their property, and then it was added to the preserve.
I see. Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
So you need a motion to approve the transfer of this property,
Yes.
the various tracts that are known as.
Various tracts, and there are 10 tracts, and then if you all approve this, then I will take this to Frankfurt to the meeting of the Kentucky Heritage Land Board. They have a meeting on October 16th. If you all approve it today, then I can get on their agenda for that meeting, and then we will pay the cost of preparing the deeds to transfer the property from the county to our nonprofit.
So then it would be, then the responsibilities for everything would fall with,
Yes.
and not go through the county or the Heritage Commission.
No, just.
And I think that's been talked about for
Yes.
4 or 5 years, I think.
Yeah, but we're ready to go. We really have the expertise to take care of it.
Well, I'll make a motion, we approve the transfer of property to this Lower Howards.
Creek Incorporated.
Lower Howards Creek Incorporated.
Yeah,
I second that.
thank you all very much.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you.
Next item is notes in the minutes, the treasurer's report for September 25, the IDA's Monday morning memo for September the 15th and the 22nd, the anniversary salary increases for Clark County employees for October, and the jailer's report for September 25. Next item will be the second reading of an ordinance to amend the admin code.
Because that has implications on our finances, I mean, I think we ought to table that for next year.
I second that.
I would agree. So we have a motion, is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So the next item was the first reading of the budget amendment. Treasurer stepped out. She coming back, you know?
She said she'd be right.
Okay, we'll come back to that. So item C is consider an order approving the promotion of Derek Steele from captain to battalion chief at Clark County Fire Department.
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So last meeting had tabled the fireman's increase in basic salary. So I would assume we would like to table that until the next meeting again.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Treasurer's back.
Pardon?
Treasurer.
So item E would also be, since it's concerning pay increases, so it would also want to be tabled till the next meeting.
I thought we did D together.
We did too.
Oh, you did?
I
I
thought
thought
we
we
did.
did, yeah.
That's what I thought the motion was.
I didn't catch it, or did you get it? So going back to 14B, to consider the first reading of an order approving the fiscal year 26 budget amendment. Do we have any thoughts on that, Mary? We talked about the Ceresco, so that would need to be removed.
I don't
No,
think it needs to be removed.
no, it needs to be added in because in order to fund the Ceresco right now, we're gonna be taken from the line above it. So when we do this budget amendment, we can put it
Get
back in.
appropriations back in, okay?
Yes,
But you got the additional revenue listed here on the,
that's what I was.
for the wastewater project at $3 million, and then you got $125,000.
Those need to be two separate budget amendments.
So Mary and I were doing the same thing, we didn't know we were doing the same thing.
You're right.
I prepared a transfer order.
It needs to say 275. Can we amend that?
Yes,
Because that's what's gonna be the revenue coming.
Oh. So transfer in on the first page will be 275, and then the second page will be 275, right?
so on both sides, yes, but I'll break down the 275 into the 125 for the Ceresco, and then whatever else is broke down, I'll add that into the line items.
I know, you wanna, is that easy for you to do while we're in closed session, and then we take it, or is it?
If I know okay, so 125 for the Ceresco. We have how much for the Cascade? And like the microwave, and I've got to have lines to put it in.
That was the Ceresco, the sirens upgrade, the microwave upgrade, and the Cascade charging system.
How much do you want in the Cascade line item?
We had originally had 70,
Okay, and then,
and microwave upgrade would be, say 50. The siren upgrade, we had 30 in there originally. And that should be about 275. So we are still wanting to do the first reading of the budget amendment?
Yes, she was going to get us the corrected documents
Do it after?
after closed session. When we come out of closed session, we'll be ready for it.
So the budget transfer, this be after, we'll do that when we come back out of closed session too, or do we need to do that now?
It doesn't matter.
And you had information on the CSEP agenda meetings for September the 8th. And the next item on the agenda would be magistrate comments. Magistrate comments, let's start it on.
Yeah, I've got the two different loan documents here, the ones that we reviewed. Just so, I'll make a motion to authorize, well, default 1 second, the county attorney. Judge, should it just be he's allowed to sign all documents involved?
I just make a motion to submit that one for approval first and submit the second one.
I'll make a motion to authorize the judge executive to sign the loan documents and to submit as a priority the $275,000 loan with CAECO. And as a priority, and the backup would be the $125,000 loan. And I'll probably sign all those documents as well. Judge, here's the documents for both. The top is the $275,000.
I'll second it if nobody has already.
Any further discussion on that? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Anything else?
Brandy wants to go ahead and take up that $125,000 transfer.
If you want to.
I'll make a motion to approve the transfer order of the $125,000 from the Parks and Rec appropriations to the Parks and Rec Ceresco air handler.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, any discussion? Those in
Have a
favor say.
question. I have a question about the actual payment. Normally, this would be on a bills list.
I will be to that. It's the second. No, I don't listen to
Make another motion after
I'm sorry.
that. I follow you, Fran, I know where you're going with that. Got that motion on the floor.
And Michelle, if you could add a B to that number on the transfer order. Just a B at the end there.
Oh, okay. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on that? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And then I'll make another motion that I authorize the treasurer to pay the $125,000 for Resco once the loan has been executed and funds are in the account.
Proceeds received.
I second that.
Any further discussion on that? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And the last thing that I have, Judge, and I will be done, the last meeting, we had done the advertisement for the bucket truck. I saw that it was in the paper. However, after I reviewed it, it was late last night, and I just talked with the county attorney in regards to that. It has to have in the bid where and when it's going to be opened. So we're gonna have to re-advertise that. So if we could get that corrected and rerun again.
Okay.
I did not realize it was supposed to be a sealed bid. I thought it was just regular bids.
We just gotta follow our procurement. What I would recommend is, anytime we do anything legal like that, I would run it by the county attorney to make sure we met all the qualifications, because there's a whole statute on the state procurement process. I don't want, that's a grant especially, and I don't want any type of issues. So if we could get that run ASAP and have the county attorney review that, just
October 31st. Probably would have to wait till November, but I think in the past, maybe utilize maybe a road department committee or a road department employee would maybe pay out of the general fund as opposed to road dollars. If we could get somebody that maybe go out there and run a loader for a Saturday before winter, I think it'd be a good idea to have that for a day, try to get rid of some of that compost if we're not going to advertise it for sale.
Do you have any certain day?
I mean, I'd say we do it on a Friday and a Saturday. That way, if, anybody that's off on a Friday wants to make use of it, and then Saturday.
We'll be paying overtime on Saturday.
I mean, last winter, we hauled some of it to pay Rumpke to get rid of it, right?
No, we've never
At least the
hauled.
bones.
Well, the bones and the hides, but no, there's never been any compost hauled to the dump.
Well, so what would you propose?
Well, I mean, we could do it on a Friday, maybe a couple Fridays.
That isn't going to help folks can't take off work, get out there.
Well,
Would be my point.
We could possibly talk to the employees, maybe they could start late and stay later. Maybe we could do it from 10 in the morning till 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
What's the possibility of possibly making the person that would work normally on Friday have Friday off and then work on Saturday instead? And then it'd be just a wash.
Well, the compost, we only have one person right now. we'd have to use a road department employee, and
That's what I'm talking about, the road department employee take off on Friday and work on the Saturday.
They usually don't work on Fridays anyway.
It needs to be addressed. I mean,
okay, we'll get it figured out.
one solution is, and I think our grants all require this. I read it in the last one, that we're supposed to be advertising that for sale. So probably need to get back to that process. And then Mary shared a 911 update. We're drawing in a lot more money than we did before. However, it doesn't look like we're going to, I think we put $610,000 in the budget, and we're not going to achieve that. And some of the reason is we're still not collecting from Reed Village. Have you had any conversations there?
Reed Village, we've contacted them. They have taken full responsibility for not getting it in their system. And as of now, they're willing to pay back to day one.
No, they're not willing to pay. She's going to ask if they are
She's
willing
taken
to
for
pay.
their committee, or their board, or whatever. They took full responsibility for not getting it to us, so.
Well, it's due, so they owe it, whether, how they pay it's up to them, but it's due, so they owe it.
Do we know how much that was?
I don't remember.
I mean, I know they only have.
Maybe $1,000 or $2,000. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think they only have maybe less than 100 meters.
That's all I had.
Master
Yeah, I just noticed that we don't have department head comments on our agenda, but I just wondered if you had an answer for our coroner. He was asking why you included the vehicles on the loan, but that's
Well, the only reason I hesitated, in all due respect, Neil, we're trying to not let people just blurt out in the chairs. You know, if you'd like to come up to the podium and express your views, you're more than welcome. But originally, they were trying to do a bond and through CAECO, and my limited knowledge, they don't want to try to execute bond sales unless it's over, say, between $2 to $3 million. So they have been working on this, and all of this was included in that bond. They were close to getting it done, so if they went down the bond route, which, because of the amount, would probably take 2 months to get it through the system. It has to be DLG approved, so all the vehicles and everything was included in that approach. Well, so now what's transpired is the CAECO loan. I'll have to get back to CAECO, and I don't know if they would be willing to do a separate loan for the vehicles or not. We got to pursue that. Don't know.
Well, I'll approve. This is not anything to throw a wrench in for the fire department or whatever on it. I just wanted, you were directed by the fiscal court to include everything in that loan. It wasn't a bond, I think it was a loan, I could be wrong. But then you indicated to me that you were including that in that, but then you didn't. All you had to do is tell me. I anticipated the vehicles getting cut because they're not high priority like other things. I mean, they are to me, but I understand it. But I just wanted an answer of either, why did you tell me it was and then it wasn't?
Originally, when we spoke about all this, most of this $275,000 just transpired in the last couple of days. When we originally...
I'm call away.
When we originally talked, this entire package, that $506,500, that entire package was sent to CAECO. And they had options. They just said they would, to get the total amount, it's going to have to go through the bond pool. If it wasn't so urgent to get the Ceresco money, they'd probably still do that. The rates are the same. So all this just changed in the last couple of days.
Just communications, that's what we need.
I think.
On that, and that was just a yes or no, whether it was included or not, okay. I may have got an answer or not, I don't know.
That's all.
Manager.
First, I want to bring up that we had our first opioid abatement magistrate committee with Janet and Magistrate Scraycraft, the Magistrate Plant, and myself. We went through the paperwork, seems like we're all on the same page. We're going to get those looked at by the county attorney to make sure that everything's good with all our dates and all that good stuff. And then we're going to present it to the court for you all to look over if you want to make any changes in that beforehand. We also have
Do
put
you have a
together-
date when you're going to present that?
Hopefully by the next one, hopefully by the next meeting. Yeah. But Janet will get with you to actually get on the agenda, and we'll have that ready to go. We'll have hard copies brought to us. We also have put together, we were having an advisory committee to look over the applications for us and give us suggestions. We're going to have a committee of 5 people on that. We have 7 names right now that we're looking at, and we'll be getting back to court on that also. Also, a question, Judge, we had talked about surplusing different items from different departments. Are we going to be doing surplus stuff?
Yeah, all they have to do is just contact me. If a department head wants to do a discussion or presentation, they're more than welcome.
Okay. I know that the fire department was trying to get rid of some stuff in September, right?
Yeah.
And
We've already, you've got a list of everything. The truck, the Suburban, the box trailers.
Yeah, and did that include the bathroom and everything?
No, surpluses.
surplus.
Oh, surplusing.
Which I think we need to put something up that it's going to be surplus, right? An ad and all that.
Okay.
That was supposed to be done in September. I just was curious on if we were any closer to that, or...
Well, we really haven't had, we got a surplus, some from there, some from some CSEP, and probably some from the road department. And not just the vehicle, a lot of things.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, what's the game plan on that? I mean, I know it's coming from, can we do a separate surplus just for the fire department? Can we do a separate surplus for one department's dragging their feet getting the information? Or if we got all the information, are we gonna get it out? What are we doing with that?
We'll do our best to get that. I mean, right now, it's just, there's a lot of issues going on right now, and that we need to do something, especially for the fire department vehicle.
I mean, I know we got a lot going on, but I mean, isn't that making a phone call and say, hey, put it in the paper, we're having surplus, or what?
Well, it's a little more involved, but, yeah, we'll try to get it done.
Last meeting I mentioned about, we had some employee hours changes and things, and we were talking about whether we should do closed session, open session, and you had mentioned that we need to do an open session, and then you said that, so one open session, it wasn't on the agenda. So I want to bring it up now, when you can kind of tell us and our constituents why the hours were changed and why you chose to do it now versus, a year ago, or just so that the public can hear, people can do comments about it, or et cetera.
What's your question?
What were the...
Specifically?
Okay, what were the hours were changed recently? Janet, can you help me with that?
They weren't changed. The hours are not changed. We were just on a schedule.
Schedule, okay, the schedule's changed.
Before, we were kind of a flex schedule, or flags we were,
Correct.
but we just were now on a set 8 to 4 schedule.
That's correct, and that's the, Chris, I guess, was the reason why, because it's put a kind of a rift between some of the employees and that, because it's changed, but
Well,
maybe you can give more insight to us of why it was changed.
First thing, back on that is not just the schedule, it's the clocking in of hours.
Okay. Were we having a problem?
Possibly.
Maybe give us some more clarity on that.
Well, there's some personnel issues we can understand.
Well, that's why I wanted to put a closed session. You told me I couldn't do that.
Well,
So now you said open session. So is it open session or closed session?
It's
So you
open,
can do it.
open session.
Okay, so we're at open session right now, Magistrate. You didn't put it on the agenda. I'm bringing it up now. I'm going to discuss it now.
Okay. So, the city, for example, they clock in and clock out on cell phones. And we started a new program, we were doing the same thing. Now, we could clock out theoretically, as long as you had a cell phone, you could clock out anywhere you wanted to. Now, all I did was put what they call a geo fence basically around the courthouse. So if you're an employee and you're on the sidewalk or whatever, you can clock in, clock out. But you can't clock out from home. There was some questions.
So Were people taking advantage of that?
Possibly. The other thing was the work schedule. One of the things we have to try to do, all the way from scheduling a janitor or a custodian, is to get the courthouse locked up and closed. Now, I stay till 5 o'clock every Monday, almost 5:20, to make sure the courthouse doors are locked. We've had confusion on that. So, the employee schedule was basically, employees were working at will. They would come in 20 minutes late, leave 20 minutes early, do whatever. So all we did was said the work hours are 8 to 4. That's all we did.
With an automatic deduct 1 hour lunch.
And-
That's it.
And a 1 hour lunch.
Come up to the podium and speak. Because I'm
I'll
confused
be
on it, and I know there's a rip, but I want to understand it.
I'll be the first one to, then Mary can talk about it.
Thank you.
I think I need to talk about it.
Okay.
Let HR talk about it, because we're getting some misinformation. I can
That's
tell
fine,
you that
that's
right
fine.
now.
And Ms. Janet, I want you to
Yeah,
speak to it.
you know, this is just basic business, and we're having a discussion about schedules. I mean, this is beyond normal. I'm sorry. This is office, we're a professional office. It's
Right.
8 to 4 and an hour for lunch. It's been that way since I walked in the door in 2019.
Okay.
I don't know why
Why
it's
was
such
why was it different the last year, I guess maybe? I'm
It
not
happened
sure.
when Judge Brandon came, and everything got very relaxed.
Okay.
And we ran with it, we took it, and we abused it, and we're here. And it's the right thing to do.
No, I understand that, but I'm just asking the question, is what was the reason that you got implemented just a couple weeks ago?
Well, as I understand it, he's been thinking, like I told you, I've been trying to get him to do it for 2 years. It's costing the county money. If you want to know the bottom line, it's costing the county money. We don't have a flex schedule. If you want to create one, okay. But we are an 8 to 4 agency. The taxpayers would assume that we're here to 8 to 4.
Okay.
I think it's, Friday afternoons off was great. I loved it. I won't miss it. I used it, I've used it just like everybody else, but it's not right. We're manipulating that off the time off, and it's costing you money. That's what you need to know.
Okay,
Mary?
so now I'm gonna speak.
Yeah, go ahead,
As you know, I sent out on September the 28th. I sent out 6 months of my time. Not one time have I ever been late. Not one time have I ever left from not having my time in or my time done. If I went to the doctor for being late, I always let someone know. Whether I got a response or not, didn't matter. The last 6 months, as I told you all, there was 27 Fridays. I listed all those for you. So in that time frame, I went back fiscal year 21-22. So if it's hurting the taxpayers and it's damaging, tell me how I got to this point. Fiscal year 21-22, I wasn't here when Judge Brandon was here. I don't know the gentleman. I have no clue. But I don't live here. I'm not asking for any special treatment. I have nothing that I need to do for an hour. Nothing. I did my half an hour. I came in, I did my work on Fridays. If I had my stuff done, 1:30, 2 o'clock, I went home. If she wasn't here, I stayed till 4. Not until there was people in the building, hourly employees or whoever it may be, that was saying stuff, or even the judge saying stuff to other people outside this building, because I heard it out by the bell when I walked out on a break. So fiscal year 21-22, you've got $4,697,254. 22-23, $4,409,360.30. 23-24, I came August the 28th of 23. You've got $6,154,498. 24-25, you've got $6,401,292.92. From July 1 to present time, you're about $1 million. That shows you that none of that hurt any of that. All I've done is increase. So you can't tell me that it's done anything for the taxpayers in 30 minutes hurt anyone. You can't tell me. This did not start until I stood up in this court August the 28th, and I read that letter of how I have been treated. On that 28th, when I sent that email to you, I asked you all, Who do I need to file my grievance with? Do I need to file it with our county attorney, or do I need to get my own attorney? Because this is why this stuff is going on. This is not a joke. And if it would have been straight across the board, okay, fine, so be it, but it wasn't. It wasn't. I understand when we send out things, you say, I know, but unless you're here every single day, it's crazy. Then here we sit trying to scamper money for payroll. I mean, I'm collecting it. I don't know where it is. Something has to be done.
You know, one of the things too, and I kind of see is, you know, I know that things are more relaxed with Mr. Branham, but when you started in the lax, and then it's, when you started, then you have the hours, and you know the drive and how it affected, and it worked out. I mean, even though there were some other things you were dealing with, but then all of a sudden now it's just shifted. And it seems a very good big coincidence that it happened after you read your statement. I agree.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I think it looks bad, whether it's true or not, whether the judge was being malicious or not. It just seems bad to me. So I understand. But again, you're increasing $2 million, and we're, you know,
I mean, 30 minutes is 30
I mean,
minutes.
that's.
You're gonna tell me 2 hours is gonna make a difference? Absolutely it isn't. I'm sorry, but, you know, Mary can speak on that behalf too.
Jane, you must be.
I'm just gonna try to calm this down.
No, go ahead, please.
I think we're talking about a day-to-day operational. I came in with as a deputy judge. I understood my schedule was 8 to 4, and if Chris could get a couple extra hours out of me, he would love it. You know, that's fine. But I go back to the fact that we are public servants. Every employee that's come in here that since Judge Yates has started, I have told them we are 8 to 4. If you want to modify your schedule, get approval in writing from the judge. Even if it's 8 to 3:30, it's a schedule. You know, it's a schedule. I don't care what the schedule is, but let me just show you how it will cost you money. We're manipulating your time off. So if for a year, the week that we have the late night meetings, I can get 35 hours pretty quick. All of us can, every one of us. Take Friday off. I do that for a year. That's 84 hours. Now, you're going to pay me that out when I leave, or I'm going to take extra time off. That's not the goal of having vacation and sick. That's why you have those replacement hours. If you have a doctor's appointment, you have sick time, take it. If you need a vacation, you need a Friday off, you have vacation, take it. This is basic 101, and we're debating something, and I can promise you, it had nothing to do with Mary being up here and voicing her grievances. We all could be up here doing that, every one of us.
But Ms. Richardson, so when you're saying that Mary did start, she received that same talk? You
I
just
took
did
her to
the
Lomas,
same
we had
hours?
lunch, and I said 8 to 4, but exceptions go to the judge. I said the same thing to Mary McLemore.
No, I will disagree. I will disagree on that.
I said, I told you not to get it in writing from the judge. You change your schedule.
I'll provide my statement.
Okay, so this is beyond normal to me that we're debating this. Nobody's hours have changed. Nobody cost any money. We are back on an 8 to 4 public agency schedule. That's what everybody, we work at the courthouse. The fact that we're having this debate should tell you how off the rails we've gone. And I understand if you all want to implement flex schedules, okay, we'll do flex schedules, but we'll do it by the book. But what was happening is people would work when they wanted to, get hours in, and hit the 35. You cannot be hourly and exempt at the same time. Exempt employees work. Now, when you define when your work is done, I don't know. Because that's something that is very vague to me. I think my work is done at 4. So that's my opinion. But I supported this, I encouraged it, I talked to him for 2 years about it. I was on it 2 weeks before anybody else was. My statement has always been to every employee. Now, Mary McLemore came under Judge Branham. Now, what her agreement with him, I don't know. But that's my statement to everybody. Get it in writing. That way you have approval from the judge executive.
How do you get that in writing?
You send an email.
We don't ever get an email back.
Well, then that's when you get the email, get approval, take it to HR. That's how it happens. Then I can set the schedules, you can do whatever, you're covered.
No, and Janet, I appreciate you standing up and explaining this, and you know, to answer Magistrate Miller, you know, this is not the place to discuss it. If you had questions, all you had to do is come and see us, and we would gladly have sat down and explained it all. And Janet, as far as an HR director, does a very professional job.
She does.
And that's what this all boiled down to. Like, for example, just the geofence. I mean, all you're saying is you treat all the employees the same. That's what the city does. They're doing the same thing. So it didn't seem to me like it was anything out of the question. Everybody reports to work at the same time, and kind of everybody leaves at the same time. And that's all we were trying to do, is get everybody on the same page.
But when I mentioned the last meeting, you know, you could have said that then. You could have just come in and talk to us. But all I was asking is, do we put it on the closed session or open? You said open. And I'm just doing what you said because it didn't get on the agenda. That's all I'm doing.
And Magistrate Miller, just to let you know, the geofence has nothing to do with this, sir. I clock in and out on my computer because I have the ADP app on my phone? Yes, I do, sir. I do have it. But I use my computer upstairs because I'm not going to do that on my phone. I'll do it on my computer, or they can provide a time clock. I'm not going to do it on my phone, sir. I don't care about the geofencing. That has nothing to do with this. I could care less about that. It doesn't. And what, if 30 minutes is gonna, I mean, that's my lunch. If I'm supposed to take an hour and I only take 30, that's my lunch. But you will catch me here 8 to 4.
Not to believe, but I think it would be wrong for us not to marry back and forth. If you have anything you want to say?
Absolutely.
Not to believe.
The schedule in question, I don't have a problem with. I'm all for the structure. However, if they're going to implement a schedule in order to fix audit corrections or audit findings, it needs to be countywide. It needs to be for all employees. If you're going to auto deduct for a lunch, you have to offer the employee a platform to change that, regardless if I'm hourly or if I'm salary. I have to be able to correct and report my time accurate, and taking that off is saying that I took an hour lunch, which I did not because I was preparing for a court meeting. So that's the argument that I have. However, to reiterate what was said, when I came from the road department, I came from a 40-hour work week. And I was told to come over here, when I come over here, we were 35 hours. Meet your 35 hours and go home. I've met my 35 hours and then some. My time is not accurately reported. Time card versus pay statement. Current pay statement in question right now says I worked 70 hours, took 7 hours of vacation. It should reflect the actual hours worked, plus the hours over, and my vacation to add up to the total hours on my time card. That's what I have an issue with. If I'm responsible as the treasurer to be honest and transparent, then I would like for my time records to reflect the actual hours that I worked. Otherwise, it's not correct. That's the issue I have. We have to have communication. We do not have communication. I send an email, so how can I get an answer on something I'm not getting a reply to? And if I need to be micromanaged to the sense that you think I do on a daily basis, then you obviously don't think that I need to be treasurer, even though you've said it to my face multiple times. Many conversations that we've had, and I've showed up here, I've given you grace, I have been professional, but I've not taken the way that I've been treated. You want me to be honest, you want me to be fair, then you allow me the platform to properly record the time that I work. I'm not going to get benefited any extra, but it's reflecting the honest time that I put in here. Just like yesterday, I got auto-deducted for an hour lunch. I didn't leave here for lunch until 3:30 because I was preparing transfer orders, preparing for the meeting, and preparing to make sure that we had money in the bank to make payroll. I have a little bit more responsibility than the things that you give me credit for. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I guess what I'd like to see, and I'm sorry, but I'd like to see, I guess, maybe a meeting of the HR, the judge, and these two employees to sit down and say, where are we at, what can we do, where are we at? how can we rectify the disgruntlement or whatever, and then come back to us and let us know what the answer was. Can we do that, or is it just cut and dry and say, well, you guys, sorry about your luck, or whatever?
I still don't see the big deal, I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is just beyond me, I am just floored. I mean, other departments are on schedules and they're automatically, their lunch is automatically deducted. And I kind of know what I'm
But
doing
if
here,
there's a
so.
disgruntlement with employees where they just don't.
And I'm sorry they don't like it, I'm sorry they're unhappy, and I understand.
Oh,
We all understand, we all rode that ride for a long time. It was great getting out of here early on Friday, but it wasn't right. It's not the right thing. It's not serving the county. So that's my position.
all right, thank you. Thank you, Judge, that's all.
That's it, David.
Judge, the only thing I wanted to, I guess, give to you, we had these packets on our desk, workstations before the meeting regarding the disclosure of the open records manuals from the Kentucky Attorney General's office. It looks like we're asked to fill out, sign these forms that we've received. Is your office going to send these back to the
Yes.
Attorney General? Okay, well, I'll hand you mine and Magistrate Miller's this time. And
I'll take those if you don't care.
Magistrate Craig Kraft Pasley and mine are right here. If you'll see that those are sent. Thank you. That's all I have.
Magistrate Lynn.
Just a couple things. We've talked about money. We always talk about money. We always talk about not having any money. We're spending more money, and I know there's a little bit more coming in, but we seem to be always living month to month on paying our bills, which upsets me. I've mentioned on a couple of times addressing our insurance premiums tax, and I think Magistrate Craycraft mentioned it a time or two as well. It won't help us this year, but at some point in time, we have to find a revenue stream to where we're not in such a budget crunch every time. Last year, we did the 911 fee on water meters, which has helped a bit. And that's the last I checked, I think the city's insurance premiums tax was a little over 13%, and we're still at 4%. So if you're in the city, you pay a lot more for your insurance premium than you do in the county, and I'm still of the opinion we at least need to look at that. May not pass. I know how the court really feels about this. I know how this physically conservative court feels about taxes, but at the same time, this physically conservative court is spending more money. So at some point in time, we need to tighten our belts or find a source of revenue. So that's all I'll say about that. It appears as though no one ever listens, but I'm going to keep saying it. To that end, Mary Ann just talked about audit, and I know for a fact that this last audit was completed sometime maybe June or July. We still haven't seen those last audit findings or the resolution from the audit before that. It may not be up to you, but at some point in time, I'd like to see exactly where we stand from those last audit findings. They've not been shared with us, nor has the response to those audit findings been shared with us. And I, for one, would like to see that. We had on the agenda today more things to do with firefighter pay and stuff like that. And when that was last on the agenda, I voiced my concern about this so-called contract that we had with firefighters. And that wasn't on the agenda, and I asked that be included before we did any other pay adjustments, which we can't afford because we can't afford our bills today. But that wasn't included in any of those amendments to the admin code, or wasn't on the agenda. So as far, again, just to reiterate, as far as I'm concerned, there's no sense putting any of that on the agenda until we either decide we can have a contract with firefighters or we can't, and we need to clarify that entire situation. I think, well, I'll stop there. I got a few more things, but I'll stop there. That's all I got.
All right, I don't have anything. The next item on the agenda will be to go into closed session. We need a motion to go into closed session.
Motion to go into closed session.
Motion and a second to go into closed session. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. We are going into closed session.
Come to the museum tomorrow night.
Would you mind saying?
Bring your sound off.
Sheriff, you want to come to the museum tomorrow night? Visit with us?